Good morning, everybody. We made it to the weekend, and we are in the home stretch. We have a couple more cornerback videos to crank out here, just a couple more guys to take a look at, and then we are done. We are done. It's all over but the cleanup, and then we got to build up to our final product, our final understanding of the 2024 NFL Draft. So, let's kick things off today, starting in roughly round 3 of the big board. These are guys who are projected to go somewhere in the third round by many experts. And that means we're still closer to the top than the bottom, right? We don't get to the middle until the fourth round. So we spent all day yesterday talking about round 1 and round 2 corners. Now we're on to round 3. It's still good. So this is why I say do not count out the Seahawks using a pretty valuable pick on a corner. It is very possible. So be prepared for somebody in this group potentially having their name called when the Seahawks pick is up. Do not rule anything out. We need help in a lot of areas. All right. First guy we're going to talk about in this round 3 group is Kris Abrams-Draine, another Missouri cornerback. Second one we've talked about so far, I believe. 22 when the season starts. 5'11", 179 pounds. So he's a little bit lean, a little bit light. 31-inch arms, which is okay, I guess. 8 and 5/8 inch hands. 4'4", 40 is good. The 10-yard splits above average. Vertical's really weak. 33.5 inches ain't doing it. But big board's kind of all over the place. We got one first round. CBS loves this dude. A couple of third rounders, and then a fourth rounder from PFF. Aggregate puts him in the third, which is why we're talking about him here. So you look at his performance over the last couple of years, the thing that really stands out would be his ball production. He has 27 passes defensed, according to Football Reference, which, I mean, it's not as many as Quinyon Mitchell, but it's really good. And he had 4 interceptions last year, so he started making some turnovers. And he was graded out really well, had 100 tackles or so over the last 2 years combined. So he's really got that ball production. He makes a very high rate of plays. He is somebody who is very, very good at finding the ball in the air and making a play on it. He's got some flexibility. When he was in college, he played on the outside and he played in the slot on the inside. So maybe he can do both. Emphasis on maybe, though. We'll talk about that in a second. He has a good press at the line of scrimmage. He can press well, jams the receiver up nicely, and he's really smart in zone. He diagnoses plays really well when you allow him to get into his back pedal, keep his eyes forward, keep his eyes on the play developing in front of him, keep his eyes on the quarterback. He can read things, and he reacts well to what he reads. So, good zone fit. He's not a very good tackler. He's willing, I will say that. He has a chance to get better, but he's not a very good tackler. He's just not strong enough. I do wonder if he is 180 pounds play weight, that may not work well for him playing outside. He might have to go to slot only. And he doesn't have the reactive athleticism to keep up with good route runners. So putting him in man is a little bit of a risk, let's put it that way. That's probably not something you want to do. He just doesn't have the quick twitch, change of direction ability to be able to stay with really good route runners. So there is a little bit of a limited use case here. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if in the NFL he ends up being a slot-only zone corner, which narrows things down. His appeal gets diminished in the NFL, but the ball skills still make him certainly valuable. He's got really nice ball skills. That's got to be worth something. If you are able to find the ball in the air and make plays on it like this guy, you're going to get a job in the NFL. So I think the third round is fine. For all we know, he's going to be able to overcome some of his limitations and be able to play outside, be able to press a little bit despite having mediocre arm length. But I can't go higher than the third round because I don't think it's a given. So, like him, but not enamored with it or anything like that. All right, so the second guy in this video is going to be Cam Hart. Cam Hart of Notre Dame. This is a really interesting one. This is a kind of a tough one because in order to figure out Cam Hart, you kind of have to go beyond the on-field production because the on-field production was forgettable. He's big. He's got nice long arms, 33-inch arms, over 200 pounds, 6'3". He's very explosive. His vert and broad were both massive. His speed is average, his acceleration is a little below average, and his change of direction is garbage. That's the story from the combine, at least. And therein kind of lies the problem, because Cam Hart, one of the things that was supposed to be a selling point for him was he was a great athlete. These testing numbers are really, really mixed. So, kind of hard to figure out where we stand with Cam Hart right now. Big boards, ESPN puts him in the second. So does Walter Football. But then you have CBS having him undrafted. So he is all over the place. Aggregate puts him in the late third round, which seems to basically take the average of everything, which is the point of the aggregate. Over the last 2 years, he has 46 tackles, 6 for loss, 8 passes defensed, 0 interceptions. Good PFF grade last year, 3 forced fumbles. That's nice, but I don't know. It's like something's missing here, isn't it? Because this guy was building hype throughout this season, and I'm not saying he played badly, but it feels like just something's not here that should be. He's really explosive, and he's got size and length, so the things he has that cannot be taught are pretty good. He should be able to do well in zone. I think he's aware enough. He has good awareness and football IQ to be able to handle zone. I think that he can handle man as well because he's got some degree of reactive athleticism. His explosiveness is going to help in man, although I am worried about his change of direction skills not holding up. He's a former college football receiver, and he understands the receiver position well, which is something that is very helpful to him at the cornerback spot. He uses his length really well when he presses. His jam at the line of scrimmage is good. He's not afraid of tackling, and he's got some click and close skills. So he's somebody who can be backpedaling, and then he just plants and goes when he sees the action, and it's good. So there are actually a lot of traits that I do like with Cam Hart, but then I have to wonder about the rest of this stuff, which just kind of leaves me scratching my head. Like, he's skilled, but where's the production? I'm not saying he was bad, but no interceptions the last 2 years, 8 passes defensed, not even 50 tackles. Like, he should be better than this, and I don't think he was injured enough to justify this. It's not like he missed a ton of games. His testing numbers being all over the place is really disappointing because one of the selling points of this guy was that he's a great athlete. This doesn't look like a great athlete to me. This looks like a explosive athlete, but that's only part of the picture here. It seems to me that even though he is, it seems to me that even though he is, moderately fast at least, I can give him a little bit of credit there, I guess. He's really not that great in situations where receivers are running verts on him. He gets stacked up a little bit when he's trying to chase receivers on verts, and he gives up a lot in those situations as well. So that would be an area on the field that you can see the weaknesses come through. So overall, Cam Hart's kind of tough. Had a hard time making this evaluation. Kind of looking at him as somebody with potential, almost like a Rico Wilmer. Like he's big, he's got long arms, and he's explosive. But you almost have to kind of look at him almost like you looked at Rico Wilmer, because Rico Wilmer wasn't a very good player in college, and Cam Hart was probably better than that, but I'm still looking at it like, okay, this is a little bit of a blank slate here. I don't know what to think. I'm getting a big guy who I think is going to be really good in zone because of his click and close, but after that, I'm not sure. So I'm not really jumping on here until about the 4th round, maybe middle 4th round. I don't know. I'm a little out on this one. I'm a little down on him. I have a hard time figuring this one out, so I would go middle 4th round, I think. All right, so those are our first 2 round 3 guys. So a couple of hours, we'll be congregating to talk about our next 2, and then we are on to day 3. So see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think down below. And yeah, Cam Hart, not super enthused, reasonably enthused about Abrams-Draine, but I think we can do better, and we'll get to better in a little bit.